Malcolm X.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough. And it is because of our effort toward getting straight to the root that people oftentimes think we're dealing in hate. We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together.
Why should Malcolm X win the award for Most Famous American? Well, to start off with, he was one of the most significant and dynamic leaders of Black nationalism in America. He sought to unite and to educate Black people so that they could overcome the political, social, economic injustices. He wanted to change the name from civil rights struggle to human rights struggle to involve not only the American community, but the international community of Black people, non-white. Before I go into why I exactly think that Malcolm X deserves this award, I want to give you guys some more background information on who he exactly was and what his life has looked like, and some key events that have formed him into the person that he was. And this will help you guys understand him more and get to know him better. Malcolm was born in the Midwest, which at the time was full of discrimination and racial violence. While Malcolm was still very young, his father was murdered by white supremacists, and his mom was forced into a mental institution by the government. This broke apart his entire family, and all his siblings had to go live in different foster homes or detention centers. In 8th grade, he drops out of high school to go live with his sister Ella in Boston. This is the beginning of an entire new life for Malcolm. He gets wrapped up in the night scene of Boston, and it's unlike anything he has ever seen before because he was raised in a predominantly white city and neighborhood. He never experienced the urban life, and coming to Boston, this was all new to him.
He was a pusher, a hustler.
From here on out, the spiral downward starts. He moves to New York and has various jobs, from selling drugs to committing armed robberies. This leads him to a 10-year prison sentence at the young age of 21.
Convicted. State your number, little. I forgot.
In a dream that's divine.
In prison, Malcolm transforms himself for the better. He has this thirst for knowledge and to educate himself. And although he doesn't have a high school diploma, he reads up the entire prison library. In prison, he also finds the Islam, which he believes is the true religion for Black people. Inspired by his faith, he reads voraciously. He studies English, Latin, he studies the human body even, history of Black people, and he joins the prison debate. When he gets out, he becomes very involved in the Nation of Islam and quickly rises to the minister of the Detroit Mosque. This is also where he drops his last name, Little, which was given to one of his ancestors by a slaveholder, and replaces it by X. He becomes known throughout the entire world as a fiery advocate for Black power, Black nationalism, and Black unity. This sparks fear and resentment in the leader of the Nation of Islam, and he quickly suspends him. The perfect facade of the Nation of Islam and its leader begins to crumble. Everything that he thought he believed in changes, And this leads him to go on the pilgrimage in Mecca and travel the entire African continent. When Malcolm started preaching for the Nation of Islam, he preached for separatism and not integration. He believed that it was best for the black people to have their own separate communities for the white people, where they had their own political leaders, their own economy, their own education, and so on. But after his pilgrimage in Mecca, where he saw that all kinds of different colors, white, black, Chinese, Asian, everyone was united and one and living peacefully and in understanding, this made his whole vision on the matter change. I find it very inspiring that Malcolm X was able to have such an open mind and that his ideals and his opinions could be changed. And I think that's very important to grow, to be able to grow as a person. So, why was Malcolm X so unique, and why does he deserve this award? To start off with, he was one of the most brilliant civil rights leaders in America. He thought of new, innovative ways on how to tackle the racial problem in America. He believed that unity and education were the most important tools. If the black people would unite and have one voice, and if they were educated on their history, culture, religion, they would be able to stand up. He took the entire movement to a whole other level by not only analyzing the symptoms of racism in America, but also the root cause. I also admire that he was so well-spoken and highly intelligent, seeing he didn't even finish school above elementary level. Malcolm X stood for values that I very much admire, such as love, race pride, resilience, unity, hard work. In the society we live in today, most of the famous people are artists, sports stars, YouTubers, or even just famous for being famous. Oftentimes, these people aren't interested or deeply involved in changing the world. In contrast to that, Malcolm X dedicated his entire life to helping minority groups reclaim their power, without any personal gains and with great sacrifices. I believe a person like this should be elevated and celebrated for the life-changing work he did and the historical significance he played. The fight he started continues even today, unabated, making his quest for social justice still relevant.
What do you call second-class citizenship? Why, that's colonization. Second-class citizenship is nothing but 20th century slavery. How are you going to tell me you're a second-class citizen? They don't have second-class citizenship in any other government on this earth. They just have slaves and people who are free. Well, this country is a hypocrite. They try and make you think they set you free by calling you a second-class citizen. No, you're nothing but a 20th century slave. Just as it took nationalism to remove colonialism from Asia and Africa, it'll take black nationalism today to remove colonialism from the backs and the minds of 22 million Afro-Americans here in this country. And 1964 looks like it might be the year of the ballot or the bullet.